Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So yeah, as Terry said, I've been working on this for a while. I'm a board member for BikeWalk NC. And back in 2016, I was surfing the net and I was looking for something else. And I saw that there was this thing called a bicycle safety quiz. So I went and looked at it, and it was put on by RideIllinois for the state of Illinois. So I took it and I thought, that's kind of a cool little tool, and it's kind of fun to take, doesn't take much time. So I contacted Ed Barsotti, who is with RideIllinois, and I said, is this something other states could use? And he said, yes. He said it was done with a grant so that we could actually let other states replicate it. The first iteration of it was pretty pricey. I want to say it was somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000. And we tried to get NCDOT to sponsor it, and they were not interested. So we just put it on the back burner. And then about, I guess it was last year, I got an email from Ed saying they had switched it over to Google Forms, and it was much more affordable if we wanted to try it again. So I went out looking for money again, and AARP was very interested in it, and they said they would be happy to fund it. So why this quiz and why now? We do not do very much. I don't know if any state does, but our state certainly does very little to educate people about bicycling, either from the point of view of the motorist or from the bicyclist. And so that's a problem. The motorists don't know what laws apply to bicycles, and the bicyclists a lot of times don't know what laws apply to bicycles. They don't know which side of the road to ride on, all these things. And now with the pandemic, we have a lot of new people who either haven't ridden in a long time, or they're like, suddenly I can ride a bike because there are e-bikes, and they may not know much about riding a bike. So it's really important to get the word out. And then the last reason is because North Carolina is one of only a very few states, I think it's 4 or 5, that actually have contributory negligence. And if anyone on here doesn't know what that is, it means that if you are involved in a crash and they find you 1% at fault, you could not get any compensation for your injuries, for your damages. So let's say, you're riding on the road and you're on the right side of the road and you're following all the signs and everything, and a person is speeding and is drunk and is with a revoked license, and he hits you and you suffer severe injuries, but it's at night and your back light isn't working because the battery has died. You could be found at 1% at fault and get no compensation. So it's really important for bicyclists to be aware of the laws, and this was one way we could do that. The bicycle safety quiz is, and by the way, you're going to get it at the end, so just calm down. At the end, there's a series of 15-minute, I would say for most of you who may be more familiar with the rules than others, a 15-minute to 30-minute quiz. It is not super in-depth. We do have the bicycle friendly driver program, which is more in-depth, but also geared a little more toward motorists. This is geared toward both the riders and the drivers. And it's a way to get the really important, solid information out there to a large group of people. It has 4 modules. It has one called the motorist quiz. One is the adult bicyclist quiz. One is for children, probably around 4th or 5th grade age. And then they added another one for truck and large vehicle drivers because a lot of bicyclists were either getting hit by large trucks or just getting punished passes and other scary moments with them. How does it work? So you get on the quiz, you start taking it immediately. You don't study for it ahead of time. You could, I guess, if you knew the laws or you wanted to know the laws, but the idea is that you're going to learn all those by taking the quiz. If you make a mistake, it gives you a second chance and a third chance. It tells you what you did wrong. It tells you what the right answer is. So you have to make the correct answer before you can move to the next question. So by the time you have finished taking the quiz, you get 100% because you have to get the right answer to move on. And then there are some situations where people will either be required or just want to have a certificate that says they've completed it. Here's an example. Here's a question. The first question, so there are 3 levels, bronze, silver, and gold, and you have to go through all 3 of them. Question 1 on the first level: what are bicyclists' rights to riding a road in North Carolina state law? So this person has put the wrong answer. So when they go to find out what they did, it says, no, this is incorrect. And it even tells you, you're going to find out later why it's incorrect. So then you have to go, when you hit the next button, it asks you the question again. And sometimes the answers are in different order. So it's not that you can just remember it was the bottom one. So this time the person's gotten it right. And then it says, correct, that's great. So then you go on to the next question. So that's how it works in a very small nutshell. The benefits of this quiz are that it was a very low initial cost investment. For us, it was super low because we had a grant, but it was, they have 3 levels of assistance to give you. And I think it ranges for nonprofits up to like $2,000. So it's a really reasonable amount of money. It can be modified as needed. So if there's a new law passed that we really want to put in there, we can easily pull something out and put that in. It doesn't require somebody going out and teaching it to somebody. They can just take it on their own time online. And it can be used in a lot of different ways, such as driver education classes. This is a great use for this. And in Illinois, they've had so many people take it through driver's ed because they got a grant from their state DOT that pays the school $2 per student that takes this class in the driver's ed, takes the quiz in the driver's ed class. So the schools love it because they're getting some money. It's great for the new drivers because they're learning something. And it's just a really nice tool for the driver's ed teachers to have. And they can actually get their students to give them a certificate to show that they've taken the quiz. Police departments have used it. These are all uses, by the way, that Illinois has used, at least in some form. Some of them they're continuing to use. A ticket diversion program. So if somebody is involved in a crash and they don't want a ticket or points on their license, they can take this as a ticket diversion class. Police who are always looking for new classes to keep their certification up, they can use it for that. Elementary schools can use it as part of their Watch for Me NC program or in combination with just a PE class. Scouts are always looking for something like this. You could also have other, like adult bicyclists. I can imagine that AARP is going to use this in their own form for their own people. Bicycle safety classes, you know, a lot of people on this call, on this webinar may be LCIs. And a lot of times you're teaching a set LCI class, but because you're an LCI, if you're like me, they're often asked to just come and give a few words at something and talk about something. And you can point people to this and say, you know, if you want more, here you go. You can use it for bike share. So places like Lyft and I can't even remember which ones are doing Citrex, all the different bike share programs. They could either make this something that, you know, their users could go online and take the class and maybe get 3 free rides or something for it. It would help them because their liability would be lowered by people knowing the rules of the road and the laws. Event raffles, you could say for every certificate you get or, you know, if you've taken the class, you get put in the raffle. Bike Safety Week or Bike Month. This is, I think, a great use for this because our local groups, our local town municipalities are always looking for something to promote during Bike Safety Month. And this is something they can promote to motorists as well as to bicyclists. And then truck driver training, you know, you could have fleets, you could have bus drivers. It's very similar to the motorist one, but it does talk a lot about visibility because of the bigger vehicles. Bike clubs who do rides all the time, they might really love to have their people on their rides know what the rules are. And this would be a good way for them to give them a way to learn the rules quickly. And then bike shops, bike giveaway programs. I mean, I think there are a lot of ideas that we haven't even touched on yet, but I think it offers itself to some creative ways of putting it out there. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but it can be customized. So we have special sort of team modules that you can take. So if you are AARP, for example, we can give this directly to AARP. They can see who's taken it with their group. They can get their own certificates. Driver's ed class, high school might want it for their high school so that they can keep track of all the people that have taken it and get their certificates as part of their class. So there are a lot of ways that it can be customized. And also it will be offered in Spanish. Hopefully later this year, we'll have that done. I can't really think about it till after the summit, but that is on our list. If you want to give it a try, the quiz will have its own page on our website and we will be promoting it. You can just go there and take the quiz. And then as soon as I close my screen, I will put the links to each of those modules in the chat box. And you are welcome to use those, share those, give us feedback on them. And just remember that everybody who's taking this is not a bicycle planner or advocate. A lot of people that will be taking this will know nothing about the rules of the road. So anyway, that is it in a very short nutshell. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
At HDR, we're passionate about making North Carolina a better place to walk and roll. Our Salem Parkway project in Winston-Salem upgraded a downtown greenway, integrated a bike and pedestrian tunnel into a highway reconstruction project, and delivered 2 signature bridges. From planning to construction, we're ready to help you imagine, design, and deliver the next generation of bicycle and pedestrian projects for our communities.
Hi, I'm Lisa Regal with AARP North Carolina. We enjoy working with BikeWalk NC as we work to make our active transportation safer through efforts like the Bicycle Safety Quiz, Vision Zero, and Complete Streets.